Yes, welcome back. It's 7 p.m. evening, early evening. So I start to get tired. 7. I like to read the history of the Emirates airline and the other one, Etihad Airways in United Arab Emirates. I forgot to get some cola. I forgot to get something to drink. So I'm finished eating. I made some Danish video about the Emirates Airlines. So let's read this. The history of Emirates. They're actually flying from my capital Copenhagen to Dubai International Airport. I think you can buy a ticket less $1,000. A lot less $1,000. I think that's maybe the only connection from Copenhagen to Dubai. So I will go to my bed, read this, but this camcorder had only power for like 1.5 hours. So I think I need to charge my camcorder before I read the other one. Yes, I just read for fun because I like to learning something new. I have to sit home alone in my apartment the rest of my life maybe. I like to learning something new.
History of Emirates Airline. Emirates, the world's fourth largest airline by scheduled revenue, passenger kilometers flown and number of international passengers carried, was founded in 1985, 1, by the royal family of Dubai. The airline's first flight was from Dubai to Karachi, Pakistan and Mumbai, India in October of that year. Its first aircraft were provided by Pakistan International. The airline grew rapidly through partnerships and investment to become one of the world's leading air carriers. Emirates Boeing 727-200 at Dubai International Airport, 1991. Emirates Airbus A300, one of the airline's early fleet, 1995, founding. During the mid-1980s, Gulf Air began to cut back its services to Dubai as it was concerned it was providing regional feeder flights for other carriers. 2. As a result, Emirates Airline was conceived in March 1985 with backing from Dubai's royal family, and was required to operate independently of government subsidies, apart from $10 million in the mid-1980s. Pakistan International Airlines played a larger role in establishing the Emirates airline by providing technical and administrative assistance to the new carrier, as well as gifting a new Boeing 737-300 and an Airbus A300B4-200. 3. The royal family's Dubai Royal Air Wing also provided the airline with 2 used Boeing 727-200 ADV. 4. The airline's first flight EK600, was from Dubai, UAE to Karachi, Pakistan on 25 October 1985. 4. Early years. Maurice Flanagan, who previously worked at British Airways Gulf Air, and Bork and at the time was overseeing later, Airways appointed Chief Executive Officer of the new airline. 2. To acknowledge his services for aviation, in 2000 Flanagan was made CB in the Queen's Birthday Honour List, and later honoured with knighthood. Hugh Aldby joined at the airline by Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed Al Maktoum, as chairman, and now Emirates President Tim Clark. Current chairman Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed Al Maktoum has since inherited the role of CEO. During its first year, it carried about 260,000 passengers and 10,000 tons of freight. 5. To highlight the airline's early success, Gulf Air, during Emirates' first year of operations, suffered a 56% drop in profits and a loss the following year. 5. By 1986, the airline had added destinations such as Colombo, Dhaka, Amman and Cairo to its route network. 4. In 1987, a second Boeing 727 was purchased from the Dubai government and an A300 was temporarily replaced by a second example from Kuwait Airways. On the 3rd of July, Emirates received its first sport aircraft, an Airbus A310, registration A6EKA-4, and with 2 examples, launched daily non-stop services to London Gatwick on the 6th of July, 1987. The airline in 1987 added Frankfurt via Istanbul, and Mail, Maldives. 5. By the end of 1987, Emirates was serving 11 destinations. This was followed by an expansion into the Far East market in 1989, with flights to Bangkok, Manila and Singapore. 4. Followed by Hong Kong and London Heathrow in 1991. 5. During the first decade of operations, Emirates recorded strong growth averaging 30%. 2. Incorporation and growth, 1993-1999. By the early 1990s, Emirates was among the world's fastest growing airlines. Revenue increased approximately $100 million each year, approaching $500 million in the year 1993. The airliner carried 1.6 million passengers and 68,000 tons of cargo in the same year. 5. Emirates Boeing 777-300 en approach to Madrid, Spain. Emirates is the world's largest operator of the Boeing 777 and the only airline to have operated every version of the aircraft. 6. With the onset of the Gulf War, business increased for Emirates as war kept other airlines out of the area. It was the only airline to continue flying in the last 10 days of the war. 5. Following the conflicts, a total of 92 air carriers were flying to markets internationally and Emirates faced intense competition at its home base. It carried about 3 million passengers a year to Dubai International Airport in the mid-1990s. Emirates continued to expand during the late 1990s. The growing cargo business accounted for 16% of the airline's total revenues. Emirates started offering round-the-world services from autumn 1993, after a partnership was established with US Airways. 5. It previously had cooperation agreements with Cyprus Airways. 5. By 1995, the airline expanded the fleet to 6 Airbus A300s and 8 Airbus A310s and built the network up to cover 37 destinations in 30 countries. In 1996, the airline received its first Boeing 777-200 aircraft, and was followed shortly thereafter by 6 Boeing 777-200s. The arrival of the 777s allowed Emirates to continue its Singapore service onward to Melbourne commencing in 1996. The flight briefly operated as a Dubai-Jakarta-Melbourne service before being cut due to unprofitability. Emirates would only begin serving Jakarta non-stop again in 2006, which would become a very profitable route for Emirates and would see new destinations added in Australia. In 1998, Emirates Sky Cargo was launched. Although the Emirates had always provided a cargo service using capacity within its passenger aircraft, this was now expanded with an aircraft, crew, maintenance and insurance lease with Atlas Air, initially for a single Boeing 747-200 freighter. 7. In May 1998, Emirates paid the government of Sri Lanka $70 million for a 43.6% stake in Sri Lankan Airlines, then known as Air Lanka. 8. As part of the deal, Emirates received a 10-year contract to manage a Sri Lankan. 9. In January 2008, Emirates announced that it would end the management contract, effective April 2008. 9. 10. Emirates subsequently sold its stake in the airline to the government of Sri Lanka, in an estimated $150 million. 8. Deal that was finalized in 2010, thus ending any affiliation the two airlines had with each other. 11. On the 9th of November, 2013, Emirates Airline unveiled its first light sport aircraft to fuel. 12. Modern history, 2000 present. In 2000, Emirates placed an order for 25 Boeing 777-300s, 8 Airbus A340-500s, 3 Airbus A330-200s and 22 of the double-decker A380. Its frequent flyer program, Skywards, was also launched in 2000 as the airline grew. Towards the end of the year, Emirates planned to start long-haul. An Emirates Airbus A380 in the United for Wildlife livery, 2016, services to the East Coast and West Coast of the United States, as well as non-stop flights to Australia and Brazil. During 2002, Emirates passenger figures increased 18% to over 6.8 million against the previous year. 13. The financial year 2001-02 would prove to be very difficult for Emirates and one of the toughest for the airline. Initially, sales were affected by a recession and later influenced by the bombing of Colombo Airport. The bombing destroyed 3 of Sri Lankan Airlines' 12 aircraft and damaged 3 other aircraft. A few months later, the 11th of September attacks in New York City saw thousands of cancellations and deferments of travel plans. Emirates needed to find funds for a spike in its multi-billion-dollar insurance cover due to the events. Seat factors fell considerably and profitability disappeared. The airline announced a recruitment freeze, but did not make any redundancies. The airline also reduced flight frequencies to other destinations. The unstable situation in the region, however, benefited Emirates as international airlines cut flights to Dubai and lowered competition. 14. At the 2003 Paris Air Show, Emirates signed an order for 71 aircraft at a cost of $19 billion. The order included firm purchase orders for a further 21 Airbus A380-800s and lease orders for 2 A380-800s. Emirates also announced operating lease orders for 26 Boeing 777-300ers. 15. In 2004, Emirates began flying non-stop to New York City's John F. Kennedy International Airport using its new Airbus A340-500. These flights meant the resumption of non-stop air services between the United Arab Emirates and the United States, after Delta Airlines withdrew its flights in 2001, 16, 17, and restarted again in 2007. In the same year, Emirates signed a £100 million deal with English Premier League football team Arsenal, which includes naming rights to its new stadium for 15 years and shirt sponsorship for 8 years, starting in the 2006/07 season. In 2005, Emirates ordered 42 Boeing 777s in a deal worth $9.7 billion. The largest Boeing 777 order in history. 18. Emirates has steadily captured traffic from South Asia to North America, allowing passengers to bypass the hubs of British Airways, Lufthansa, and Air France, with a transit stop at Dubai International Airport instead. South Asia has remained an important region for the Emirates network. Pakistan was the first country to receive flights, and since then, Emirates operates to 5 destinations in the country. 19. India was second country to receive flights from Emirates, and Emirates is expanding its network there. Emirates is the largest airline operating internationally in India and operates over 185 flights a week across 10 cities. 20. Similarly, Emirates competes with British